What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is March 10th of 2018. Well, folks, it's time for a daily update here on the DataDash channel. Today we have a few different things to dive into. First and foremost, as always, though, we'll be spending some time taking a look at market valuations as well as doing some technical analysis on the market leaders in the cryptocurrency space. But outside of that, we have a few different interesting headlines to go through. First and foremost, in the sense of innovation, we're going to be spending some time talking about a new innovative piece of technology pushed by Vitalik, one of the founders of Ethereum, that could help exchanges become hacker-proof. So we'll be spending some time talking about that, and along with that as well, spending some time talking about the success of a recent crypto getting listed on Binance known as Ontology, and whether or not you guys want me to dive in a little bit deeper into this cryptocurrency. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the video. So first and foremost, guys, taking a look here at market valuations, we've obviously seen a little bit of a rebound over the past 24 hours, some taking some serious double-digit gains, going back up and retesting previous levels over the past few days. Now, this has obviously been a response with Bitcoin showing resilience at the 200-day, as we'll take a look at later on. But along with that as well, the sheer fact that things have been generally oversold over the past few days. There's been a lot of unnecessary fun in the market due to the sell-side action from MTGOX, one of the previous largest exchanges in Bitcoin history. But seeing as there's been the offloading of Bitcoin, there's obviously been a drop over the past few days, leading to the over $100 billion drop we had in market valuation. But now we can see that over the past 24 hours, we're really starting to see some resilience here and some regaining in volume, over $30 billion from the lows. So I think, again, guys, this is where buyers are starting to come in. They're starting to come in after the FUD's been generated in the market. And as we can see here as well, a lot of that is coming back into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dominance is still holding here strong as other coins continue to deplete down to lower levels. So again, as much as we're still on the case of Bitcoin here, guys, as Bitcoin has been holding relatively stagnant here, we'll have to see if it can continue to gain market dominance. If it starts to roll over, this might mean that we might have a short-term altcoin cycle where some speculative altcoins start to gain valuation or maybe start to retrace back up from the sell-off. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that, guys. We are starting to see some signs of that as we'll take a look here on the sense of TA. But as of now, I think everyone has their eyes on Bitcoin predominantly. As we can see, Bitcoin did dip below the 200-day, which did spark a lot of temporary fear and probably a little bit of sell-side action. However, we were able to gain back on the hourly and come back and close above the 200-day. And so far as of today, we're holding here right on the 200-day. The Wix is showing clear support on the 200-day, which is really healthy for Bitcoin. But we're going to have to see this hold over the next 2 to 3 days, guys. I don't want to just sit here and say, oh, we're at the 200-day, time to get extremely bullish. It would be much better, I think, to, at least in my opinion, because again, this isn't financial advice, but for me personally, for me to make additions to Bitcoin at these levels, I would like to see it curve up and close above the 50-day moving average. And if we can close above it and find support on the 50-day and start to curve back upwards, we could really see this as for what it is, just generally FUD. And we can see that people are realizing the fundamentals, that Bitcoin fees are low, that the price generally is low, and that we might have some more room to go up. But again, I'm going to wait to see what happens here. If we take it down to the hourly, we can see that there's some more signaled confidence. We've made a strong rebound, almost $1,000. However, again, there's a little bit of resistance here at 9,500. I'd like to see that we could continue climbing back up and kind of reflect the buy volume coming back in to meet all this dramatic sell-off. Again, you're not going to get any dramatic buys like this because these big sell-off candles were from MTGOX. It was from the trustee who is trying to liquidate some of the Bitcoin position to get cash out to the individuals who lost from the exchange hack back in 2013. So, again, that's generally why we've been seeing the sell-side action. Nothing really scary on the fundamental side. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum here. Interestingly enough, guys, Ethereum has been holding here around the 100-day moving average. Now, we did get a little bit of rejection here today, around 8 million Satoshis. We'll have to see if it's going to close above there. If we do get shot down, again, I still think we're on target to get down to 7 million Satoshis. Just me personally, guys. Again, for those of you who are Ethereum bugs, I know that this is still probably seen as a low level to get in. It's definitely better than where you were getting in if you were trying to buy back up here at 11 to 12 million Satoshis. But again, I'd recommend patience if you want my opinion, but it's simply just that. So you have to take it for what it is. All right, so let's go ahead here, take a look at Ripple. Again, guys, nothing too much new here. Repeating previous price history, getting rejected at the 100-day. So this thing has got a ways to go, even if we get an altcoin run up in the short term. Bitcoin Cash, again, below the wedge, so I think the trade is dead on this. I'm going to just generally stop covering this until I have a reason to cover it, guys. Just not too much action in Bitcoin Cash. Let's go ahead here, take a look at NEO here. NEO still looking like it wants a lower level here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up an exchange with a little bit more price history. And I think we're going to generally see, as we've seen the 200-day flattening out, a possible retracement back down here to 7 million Satoshis. It would be, 700,000 Satoshis. I think it'd be a dramatically healthy for NEO to do that. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on it, seeing if it comes back down to that level. Not urgent to buy this, guys. Again, we're still on the higher end of things here. But nonetheless, NEO is definitely starting to look a lot better in regards to an opportunity to buy. Nothing too strong yet, though. Next up, Cardano. So we have dipped a little bit below the support level we were looking to hold at 2,500 Satoshis. This has been generally, I think, due to the fact that all altcoins were selling off when Bitcoin was taking a dip. However, again, Cardano is starting to provide a very nice discount at these levels, guys. We're at $5.8 billion in this case. Much better than where we were at back in our January and December levels of $31 billion. So again, when you get these kind of discounts in markets, I'm not saying to get dramatically greedy here, but the lower we go and the fundamentals still hold strong, in that case, we can get a little bit more, more looking towards possibly spotting buying opportunities in this market. But again, you have to feel comfortable at the levels you add. I already know I added my first edition around 2,700 Satoshis, and I'll happily add another one around 2,000, or if we get down here to 1,300 Satoshis. But I think that's definitely the overtly bearish case to get down to 1,300. I don't see it happening. All right, so to take a look at a few more here, let's go ahead here and take a look at nulls. I know many people have been eyeing nulls. Luckily, even after we had a little bit of a dramatic dip off the other day, I've still been holding strong. We haven't reached my target yet. I'm aiming for somewhere well around the 4,500 or 45,000 Satoshi range. And so far, we've definitely got a boost in price action. I'd like to see the volume come in a little bit more, but nonetheless, we've recovered the price here, and it looks like we might try to test above that level. We'll have to see, though. All right, so next up, let's go ahead here and start diving in through some of the headlines here. So this is really the big one in the market, which is relatively silent right now, and things aren't going too crazy. It is really nice to see some good fundamental news in the sense of innovation. So as many of you know, Vitalik is one of the co-founders of Ethereum, and he's gone out recently. I think he went out through a conference in Paris the other night talking about what's known as this hacker-resistant technology known as plasma cash. And it's based around an original technology that him and one of the Lightning Network founders have been working at, Joseph Poon, back in August, they worked on something known as Plasma, and it was to help build scalability for smart contracts and for decentralized applications on the Ethereum network through being able to reduce fees. However, as much as Plasma is cool, and I've got the the white paper right here if you guys want to go ahead and dive into the draft for it, Plasma Cash is basically this alternative to the original Plasma that could give exchanges the ability to make them hacker-proof. So what does this mean? Well, in very simple speak, without diving into the technicals, if you want that, I'm going to go ahead and leave this link down below. It is the video from the conference where Vitalik was speaking. In very simple speak, basically with Plasma Cash, the cryptocurrencies, let's say for example that I sent 2 or 3 Ethereum to an exchange, to have on the exchange or have in my accounts. With that, I could use Plasma Cash, and each of these Plasma Cash would have a unique ID to the amount that I own, as well as who owns it, and all the nitty-gritty details that I would need to show ownership and security. And with these this Plasma Cash or these Plasma coins, that unique ID verifies in the sense that it's not in the sense able to be sent to someone else under someone else's ownership, and they can't deduct certain values from the coins. So in this sense, it's not divisible like other cryptocurrency where in this sense, Plasma coins are held to their unique value. They're held to a pinned ownership as well as value for the coin. So that's kind of what I've picked up in general speak, but it makes it so that there would be, in this sense, a proof of data that needs to be shown for the coin's history in order to claim it or to utilize these plasma coins comparative to those who would just try to hack an exchange and be able to steal your Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. So it seems like a really interesting system. We'll have to see if this really can work practically. Again, this seems like something that's still kind of on the surface level, but I'd like to see Plasma Cash or the Plasma chain that this could be built off of really start to serve as a new kind of layer for exchanges if we're going to continue using centralized exchanges and not use decentralized exchanges, which allow us to utilize atomic swaps. So again, this is very early on. This just came out, I think, a few hours ago, but it seems really interesting from what I can tell. I want to spend some more time doing research on it. And if you guys are interested enough, I could do a whole video talking about the topic if you guys are interested in the innovation. But again, I want to make sure I do a little bit more research before I do a full 15 to 20 minute video on Plasma. But again, all the resources are down below if you guys want this, so feel free to check it out. All right, next up, I want to spend some time talking about ontology because I've gotten a lot of questions from the community about ontology. This had a very successful launch on Binance. This is going to be a protocol on top of the Neo network, or a project that's been built on top of the Neo network, and has come out at a ridiculous, in the case of its total supply, ridiculous $1.67 billion valuation. So in some sense, this was riding along valuations in the $2 to $3 billion range when all the hype was coming in, and we had some serious volume trading it for a new listing. So a lot of people have been asking me what I think on ontology. Well, I haven't done enough dramatic research to really talk about this, but I've been really spending some time looking into the identity verification space in regards to blockchain technology. And ontology does tap into this, but it's basically, in very simple speak, serving to be kind of an identity layer for the Neo protocol. So for example, when people are exchanging data or information or identity, they can utilize ontology for this. So if you guys are interested enough, the website's going to be in Chinese when you come on here originally, but I have it translated to English here. I would love to do a video on this if you guys are interested. There's a few things I need to gain access to. The white paper, which was in English, is no longer available from what I can tell. And because of that, I'm going to have to search and find it. However, I have a great Medium article down below if you guys want to start diving into it and look into it. But if you guys do want me to check into this, I'd love to talk about it on the channel. However, in the sense of doing some TA, is what many of you have been asking me with the exchange launch, if whether or not I'm willing to buy it here. I have to say, as much as I can understand why these new identity systems are being valued so highly. In fact, I'm looking into a lot of them right now to invest in. The thing for me personally is that I don't think I'd want to buy right here after the exchange listing has gone through. We didn't have an ICO reversal, which is very similar to an ICO or IPO reversal on stock exchanges. And because of that, I think this is going to have a little bit of a decline, most like much exchange listings. There's always a lot of hype when it comes in. And when you can get a good reduction, 20 or 30% in price, you have a much better risk to reward ratio. So that's going to be my whole play with ontology. However, again, I want to do a lot more fundamental research until I really seriously get into this. However, I have watched a lot of resources as well as been reading into some documentation and articles on the project. So again, for those of you out there who do know about it, let me know down in the comments down below what you think. If you guys are interested in me doing a video on that or Plasma Chain and Plasma Cash, let me know down in the comments down below. But until then, guys, thank you very much for watching. That's it for the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Stay tuned.